Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. When most of us think about an airport, we tend to think of it as, well, just a place of transit, right? Like a giant waiting room where we grab a quick, overpriced coffee before a flight. But today, we're going to look a little deeper. We are exploring Brisbane Airport, or B&E, not just as a bunch of runways and terminals, but as a massive, pulsing economic engine that is literally driving the growth of an entire Australian region. We're going to see exactly how concrete, logistics, and vision all come together to create a true strategic aviation powerhouse.
Okay, to really wrap our heads around the scale of this place, we have to start right here with this number, 2,700. That is the staggering number of hectares of coastal land that make up Brisbane Airport's footprint, situated just northeast of Brisbane's central business district. I mean, this massive geographic spread makes it one of the largest airports in Australia by physical size and the third busiest airport in the entire country, sitting right behind Sydney and Melbourne. It's effectively a sprawling mini-city dedicated entirely to the business of flight.
So here is our flight path for this explainer. We're going to start with Queensland's economic artery, map out Australia's strategic mega hub, look at the parallel runway champion, explore the $5 billion future, and finally check out perks and plane spotting.
All right, let's dive into Section 1, Queensland's economic artery.
Think of Brisbane Airport as a giant beating heart, but instead of pumping blood, it's acting as the primary transit artery for Queensland's biggest multi-billion-dollar industries. Whether it's flying international tourists in to see those stunning coastal beaches, moving fresh agricultural products out to the world incredibly fast, or flying crucial personnel and heavy equipment for the massive mining sector, this airport is the indispensable lifeblood that keeps the Queensland economy thriving and connected.
Moving right along to Section 2, Australia's strategic mega hub.
B&E acts as the absolute foundational anchor for commercial aviation in northern and eastern Australia. And it does this by layering entirely different airline models into one cohesive ecosystem. It's like a giant puzzle. You've got Virgin Australia using it as their operational headquarters and primary mega hub for high-frequency domestic flights. Layered right on top of that, Qantas and QantasLink use it as a massive heavy maintenance base and a key international gateway. Then you integrate budget carriers like Jetstar, flying short-haul routes to places like Bali, and cap the whole thing off with Alliance Airlines running dedicated corporate regional charters. All these distinct operations weave together to create a true mega hub in every sense of the word.
And actually, speaking of Alliance Airlines, we really have to highlight a uniquely Australian logistical concept that drives a huge amount of traffic at B&E. Have you ever heard of FIFO? It stands for Fly In, Fly Out, and it's a method where workers are literally flown directly to remote work sites. Because Queensland has this massive resource and mining sector located in very remote, rugged areas, airlines utilize massive fleets of Fokker and Embraer jets to run these essential corporate services. They're safely getting thousands of workers from the city to the mines and back again on a daily basis. But B&E's reach extends way beyond domestic mines and regional outposts. It is also a massive trans-Pacific stronghold. Now, this number, 16 hours and 40 minutes, represents an absolute grueling marathon. That is the flight time for American Airlines' longest nonstop flight in its entire global network, connecting Brisbane directly to Dallas/Fort Worth. Yeah, that's a flight where you really hope you didn't book a middle seat. Add in primary destination routes for United Airlines, Air New Zealand, Singapore Airlines, Emirates, and Qatar Airways, and you've got an airport that securely anchors Australia to the rest of the globe. Okay, on to Section 3, the parallel runway champion. B&E is pretty famous in the Southern Hemisphere for its staggering dual runway system. This $1.1 billion project, called the New Parallel Runway, was an absolute game changer. Runway 01 left spans an impressive 3,560 meters, while the newer runway 01 right comes in at 3,300 meters. The really crucial point here is that both of these colossal strips of tarmac are fully capable of handling maximum takeoff weight, ultra-long-haul aircraft simultaneously. And the true genius of that $1.1 billion investment, it comes down to spacing. Because these two independent runways are spaced exactly 2 kilometers apart, they allow for completely simultaneous takeoffs and landings. There are 0 cross-traffic delays holding things up. So one fully loaded jumbo jet can land while another is taking off right next door. By doing this, Brisbane Airport effectively doubled its flight capacity overnight, putting it right up there with the elite operational capabilities of global mega hubs like Hong Kong and Singapore. Which brings us to Section 4, the $5 billion future. So, Brisbane Airport is currently in the middle of the most transformational infrastructure overhaul in its entire history. We're talking about a multi-billion-dollar program that's fundamentally reconstructing passenger flow. Right now, they're rolling out stand-in 3 CT screening, meaning travelers can breeze right through security without ever having to unpack laptops or liquids. So much better, right? But even more exciting is the approved blueprint for Terminal 3. This is going to be a state-of-the-art terminal nestled right between those parallel runways, integrating both domestic and international traffic under a single canopy. And all of this is foundational preparation for a massive impending challenge: Southeast Queensland's rapid population boom and, of course, hosting the 2022 Brisbane Olympic and Paralympic Games.
But you absolutely can't have explosive growth like that at the expense of the environment, and the airport's planners totally know this. So as they expand, they are aggressively pursuing progressive environmental goals to offset that massive footprint. Step 1 is rolling out an entire fleet of electric ground tugs. Step 2 involves actively testing localized supply loops for sustainable aviation fuel. And all of these operational steps lead to a major concrete commitment, achieving absolute net zero operational carbon emissions by the year 2030. They are making sure this massive future growth is as sustainable as it is impressive.
Of course, honestly, what good is an airport of the future if you can't easily get to it? Brisbane Airport features exceptional public transit integration. The AirTrain departs directly from elevated skywalks at both terminals every 15 minutes. It can whisk a passenger straight into the heart of downtown Brisbane at Central Station in just 20 minutes. And remarkably, that service provides a direct, continuous extension straight out to the tourist strips of the Gold Coast. Add in Skygate shuttles and ride-sharing plazas, and the airport is just deeply, deeply woven into the regional transit web.
Finally, Section 5, Perks and Plane Spotting.
Let's pivot from the heavy logistics for a second and talk about pure, unadulterated luxury. B&E's International Terminal is famous among premium flyers for an incredible first. It hosts the very first Emirates lounge located anywhere outside of Dubai that features its own integrated private skybridge. This means premium passengers can relax in a luxurious oasis, and when it's time to fly, they board a massive Airbus A380 Super Jumbo jet directly from the upper level of the lounge. They literally never have to step back onto the busy public concourse. It's the ultimate seamless premium experience. But hey, you definitely don't need a first-class ticket to enjoy the magic of flight at Brisbane Airport. Unlike so many airports that try to hide their operations behind tall fences, B&E actively embraces the aviation enthusiast community. They built Fellowship Place, which is this incredible, purpose-built public aviation park located right next to the active taxiways. It features shaded seating, elevated viewing platforms so photographers can get completely unobstructed shots, and even the preserved tail section of a decommissioned Fokker F-28 aircraft standing there as a piece of landmark history. It's just a wonderfully progressive, welcoming space for anyone who loves plane spotting.
So, as we've seen, Brisbane Airport is so much more than a simple transit point. It's a rapidly evolving $5 billion economic engine gearing up for the world stage. And it leaves us with a fascinating final thought to ponder. As massive infrastructural megaprojects continue to transform how we travel and trade, how will megahubs like Brisbane rewrite the future of global connectivity as we approach events as massive as the 2032 Olympics? The stakes are incredibly high, and the transformation we're witnessing today is going to shape our interconnected world for decades to come. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. I hope you found it as fascinating as I did.